Welcome back, boys and girls. Christine here with more Mechanicus II on the Grim Darkness difficulty. We are about to attack the Adeptus Mechanicus capital of Exveritas. But first, I am actually going to go in Awakening and see what else I can unlock right here. So we can get a bunch of different things. So Resonant Focus. Unlock the Perfect Destruction. This portal can be used as a reinforcement. Alright. Damage inflicted ignores the target's armor. We can improve leader's HP. Let's go with that. Okay.
The destruction of Exveritas by siege will require the commitment of all our awakened legions. As the fog of millennia lifts from me, I see the virtues of a prolonged campaign. It will test my patience, but in a war of attrition with the invaders, we can only be victorious.
The fog of reawakening may take further time to fully lift, Lord. We know not how many more vermin gather in the void to reinforce those blighting our world. Swift, decisive victory is needed. Acheron's place is leading his legions to victory, driving the enemy aside with his own hands.
To delay is a disgrace. My creed respects only strength of arms, the exterminator's art made manifest. We crave a Acheron whose martial skills are the equal of his strategic brilliance.
The cryptex of Kivroth shall devise a panoply of weapons and armor that can turn aside any force. Sankotep shall be inviolate upon the battlefield. He will win in a single engagement what lesser lords might take centuries to accomplish.
Is it so? Victory shall be seized by my own hand? Yes. Yes, I recall the glory of conquest, swift and total. The mastery of war, it may be hazy in my recollection, but I am certain we must know of the city's defenses before we can attack. Summon my Vargard. She must conduct the necessary reconnaissance without delay.
All right then. Let's begin.
Vargard Nevershah led the Royal Guard to the outskirts of Exveritas. Though she was bound to the will of Acheron, the counseling of the Eupatridae had caused her grave misgivings.
If Sankotep truly intends to lead the assault on the city, I fear he will become the principal target for every human within its walls. Even had he not commanded me thus, I would be compelled to fully understand the defenses the humans can bring to bear against him, primitive though they be.
The city of Exveritas had grown with unseemly speed, for the invaders were as industrious in their defilement of Kivroth as any vermin. Nevershah found the lands around it infested with humans, to be evaded or eliminated as she saw fit.
Well. He's a patient reaper. Vanguard Alpha. I don't know who's gonna move first, but regardless.
Wrath made manifest.
Oh. We're just screwing with them.
Fury of the Suns. Scour the foe.
How did he get there? Well, at least he can heal, right?
The stars serve.
Oh.
No enemy in my sight shall go unpunished.
Yeah, I was using them incorrectly. But it's a victory.
Though the initial contact had been dealt with swiftly, the patrols around Exveritas defended the interloper's city in depth. Thousands of troops surrounded the city, watching for Necrons.
Fighting these wretches is beneath us. Our primary purpose is to observe, not to eliminate the defenders single-handedly. That task will come, and I shall welcome it. For now, it is through guile we will see our duty done.
The Royal Guard found an unused fuel pipeline which traveled close to the city's defenses. However, it was not as unused as it first appeared, and the Royal Guard had to contend with a sudden flood of volatile fuel.
A temporary setback. Minor corrosion damage is no hindrance to the execution of our duty.
Okay, then. Let's see what we got here.
Fury of the Suns. Scour the foe.
All right, one down.
Wrath made manifest.
It would be nice to have some healing on my troops.
To kill is my duty, but that does not preclude my enjoying it.
Okay, we can deal with that one.
All shall burn.
dodged. Well, he didn't dodge the death mark.
Our task is delayed by this unnecessary skirmish. At least I was able to observe what passes for human elites. A lower proportion of vulnerable flesh, replacing ever more body parts with crude machinery. It seems even they understand the nature of their weakness.
Having upheld the ineffable wisdom of Sankotep by deviating from her task, Nefershah still needed more details on the defenses of Exveritas. She directed her force to a point overlooking the city from which she could observe one of its gates directly.
A fine viewpoint from which to observe the enemy. A success not without cost. The enemy are aware of an intrusion, and will seek to engage us soon. We must be selective in where we put our attention.
We have 2 more battles, okay. Let's see troop concentration.
The enemy were plentiful and always in motion, presenting a complex, shifting defense. Nefershah, however, was able to perceive the primitive patterns of their movements and gained an insight into their way of war.
Alright, it's not too bad. I wonder if I could blow those up, actually. I suppose we will find out.
Wrath made manifest. No enemy in my sight shall go unpunished.
It's quite a shame that I can't just well, we'll teleport next turn. Shit. Well, let's try and deal with that Ranger Alpha.
No enemy in my sight shall go unpunished. In my sights.
Okay, we're gonna take the shot at this one and then move the other one. Well, that didn't work.
The stars serve.
That's fine.
Punish them.
Yeah, that healing orb ability. Alright, let's try and take that down. Harry Ranger destroyed.
Fury of the Suns. Fury of the Suns.
And now just move this one right here and take the final shot. It wasn't as bad as I expected it to be, honestly.
Upon the ephemeral tides of data, Never Shah sensed a surge in uncontained power.
Unfettered and unguided, a frenzy of electricity bleeding from fallible flesh. Stand ready. This foe is not cunning, but frenzied in a way that is alien to us.
Let's...
Fury of the Suns!
Okay. Just move the immortal right there and give him the command. Shit.
Scour the foe. Punish them.
Okay, maybe we can try... Let's get precision. I'd rather not lose too many troops right here. But he should be able to handle himself. Good.
No enemy in my sight shall go unpunished. A million years of hate culminates in one shot. No enemy in my sight shall go unpunished. Fury of the Suns.
Alright, use that.
All shall burn.
Use the Staff of Light. Maybe we can take this down. We didn't actually lose any troops. Certainly there were quite a few engagements.
Nevershah examined the fallen fanatics. The enemy had a crude intellect in harnessing the very irrational nature of this species and amplifying it into this madness. Their presence among the defenders of Exveritas was noted.
My Theron, I have seen the defenses of Exveritas for myself. The walls and fortifications are formidable. The gates are the weakest point. If we focus the assault there, the gate may fall. Once inside, our legions will find little difficulty in seizing the city and razing it, piece by piece.
Swift and brutal, as befits the verdict of a Pharaon. The human scum will not have the luxury of a siege to prepare for death. I remember war. It comes in fury and fire. Our enemies reel its embrace.
I believe your warriors can breach the city with ease. There is little need to risk your royal person. There is hardly more glory to be won by crushing this infestation in person, compared to overseeing our victory from afar.
I am sovereign of this world, and I will conduct its salvation as I see fit. Remember your place, Vargard.
Vargard, I considered with interest your evaluation of the human city's defenses.
Though formidable by the standards of a lesser species, the design is of course flawed. Your legions will find ample points at which to breach and storm the city.
And a magnificent day it shall be. You did well to bring insights of such value before the court. I understand you were hindered in your task.
The Pharaon set me to enact his command. No challenge could outweigh the honor of that appointment.
Indeed. Yet the Pharaon's commands were contradictory, were they not? At a moment's whim, you and your royal guard could have been lost along with our advantage of surprise. It is tragic to see how Sankotep's mind has suffered in the Great Sleep.
A great misfortune. But he is the rightful ruler of Kivroth, and has the counsel of the Upatridae and of myself. His recollection will return, and with it, his dynasty shall reclaim this world.
Some would say your words are optimistic. There are those at court, and I relay these sentiments only reluctantly, who dare to suggest the Pharaon is unfit to rule.
They would be ill-advised to do so, lest I hear them. Sankotep is my Pharaon, and my duty is to him alone. It matters not whether I can grasp the full wisdom of his pronouncements. This duty binds a Vargard, as it must bind all the Pharaon's subjects.
Of course, Vargard. You are to be commended for your devotion. I see now that so long as you are at Sankotep's side, his reign shall surely last an eternity.
Alright, let's just upgrade them. And right here we can give... Yeah, he can heal and has Resurrection Orb. Like provoked. Okay. Let's do last strike and aggressive defense. Okay, we get the Vengeful Stars. Alright, we'll use him because he does have a bunch of different useful abilities right here, and he does have that corrupted spider or canoped spider. Bam. Costing sign out.